was the greatest probably
isn't
earthquakes.
it interesting, and you're the one that first pointed it out to me, there was the Madrid Peace Conference, which was to divide the land of Israel, and we showed you the pictures of first President Bush's home being just devastated by those waves, and now today, we have this new, it's spelled the same, as a matter of fact.
Sid.
New Madrid fault. And so what does FEMA say about this?
Well, Sid, it has the potential of literally like ripping right through the center of the country. It would be the greatest disaster ever to hit America. It would ruin everything. It would level from Memphis all the ways up to St. Louis and over to Cincinnati. It's a massive fault. It ruptured in 1811. Actually, there were 3 massive earthquakes that occurred over a 2-month period of time. It sent the Mississippi running backwards, Sid. It rang church bells in Pennsylvania, and it was felt in New Orleans and in Charleston and in central Pennsylvania. That's how massive this fault is.
How many square miles did it originally affect?
I don't know, but it affected east from Arkansas, Tennessee, northern Alabama, Mississippi, Missouri, southern Illinois it would affect, up into Ohio, Kentucky. I mean, that's just an awesome, and it sits right in the middle of the United States, and it's the new Madrid,
Will it happen soon?
Sid, there is speculations that it could happen, very, very soon, because this ruptures periodically, and it's overdue.
And John told me something else that is so fascinating, that the blessings on the United States really come from our forefathers' love for Israel. Tell me about, was it George Washington?
George Washington. Sid, George Washington in his writings literally linked the creation of the United States with the God of Israel who delivered the children of Israel from Egypt. He made a direct link, and then he said, "Blessed is that people whose God is the Lord." And George Washington, in his writings, specifically said that the God of Israel was the God of the United States, and he is the one that created the United States, just as he created Israel and took the children of Israel through the Red Sea and created from Egypt.
And how soon do you see this war that Obadiah speaks of occurring?
Sid, it's right on top of us, because you look at what's going on in Iran, with Iran on this rush to build nuclear weapons. They are forcing Israel's hand, Sid. Israel cannot wait until Iran develops nuclear weapons. So with Hamas in the plain of the Philistines, with Hezbollah to the north, with Syria, who was a vicious enemy of Israel, and Iran building nuclear weapons, Sid, Israel's hand is forced, and I believe once Israel attacks Iran, it's going to set off chain of events that will lead to what Obadiah has written about.
Obadiah 1:15, as you have done unto Israel, God will do unto you. And when is that really going to come into play? It's been the whole history since Israel, but the significant point is just before the day of the Lord, there'll be devastation. If we divide the land of Israel, I believe what FEMA's talking about of this Madrid fault is about ready to happen. But here's the good news. As you have done to Israel, God will do to you. You could be in the midst of judgment. I mean, this fault's going, John, through so many states. When the earthquake finally hits, you could be living right in the center of that fault. And no weapon formed against you can prosper. I believe that Obadiah 1:15, coupled with Genesis 12:3, John.
Very good combination.
God says, I, God, will bless those who bless the Jewish people, and I, God, will curse those who curse them. It's the same verse, really, Genesis 12:3 and Obadiah 1:15. So you can be in perfect peace as you are a blessing to the Jewish people, as you are a blessing to the land of Israel. And I want you to know that I believe in helping Jewish people get to Israel. I believe in humanitarian efforts, and God will bless you for those things. But there's a blessing that's so far beyond that. It says, he who wins souls is wise. What is the greatest blessing you can give anyone, Jewish person or Gentile person? Not religion. We Jewish people, we have a corner in the market on religion. Intimacy with God. God saying, I am your friend. You know, John, you know, if there's ever been a time for you to pour your heart out to God and tell him you're sorry for your sins and you want to know him through Jesus, it's now. There's only one name that you can know God through, Jesus, the Messiah, the King of the Jews.
Find out the predictions John McTernan has discovered within the ancient Jewish writings of the prophet Obadiah. A major war is about to erupt in the Middle East, resulting in an important victory for Israel and the major expansion of her land. Find out what countries will be destroyed for attacking God's chosen people, Israel. Learn how this will impact you and your family. Call now to receive your copy of John McTernan's shocking DVD, America and the Day of the Lord, for a donation of $18 or more. Ask for offer number 1241. On this DVD, John also reveals why America is on a collision course with God by interfering with his prophetic plan for Israel. Through this DVD, you will learn why the U.S. has suffered major disasters like the perfect storm, Hurricane Katrina, and the current economic meltdown. How the war prophesied in Obadiah may be the prelude to Armageddon. How you can avoid being a victim of God's warning judgments. And how God will bless you and prosper you for being a blessing to Israel. Prophecy is not meant to scare us, but to prepare us. Be prepared by getting this DVD. Call now to receive your copy of this prophetic DVD, America and the Day of the Lord, for a donation of $18 or more. Ask for offer number 1241. Call now, or you can write to Sid Roth. It's Supernatural. Post Office Box 1918, Brunswick, Georgia 31521. Please specify offer number 1241 or log on to sidroth.org. Call or write today. It was God's purpose from the beginning for all nations to become one in Yeshua, Messiah Jesus. To break down the middle wall of separation between Jew and Gentile. When Jewish spiritual DNA merges with the New Covenant Christian DNA, there will be what Paul called life from the dead. That's why Sid Roth's website is loaded with cutting-edge articles and teaching about the one new man. Log on to sidroth.org today. If you are encouraged and helped by these television programs, please consider assisting us with future productions. Send your tax-deductible gift to Sid Roth, Post Office Box 1918, Brunswick, Georgia 31521. Call toll-free 1-800-548-1918 or visit our website at sidroth.org.